It is an exciting day here on the farm. We are starting to plant the roses. So the first, 100 plants that we have, we're gonna try to get those in the ground this weekend. We're about to go pick up a trencher so we can just go over all these lines and start getting all of our rows set up. But Emily is getting after it already. There she is, super excited. We dug some holes the other day just with an auger, but we decided we're gonna be renting a trencher to run all of our water lines. So we're gonna try to trench all these rows too. It'll make it easier, and then we can like mix in some amend and just get some nice fresh soil in here. So very excited. Got to run right now to go to the rental store. But after that, get back here and hopefully we can get a few of these lines trenched before it gets too dark. All right, so we got the trencher yesterday. We were gonna try to do a little bit of trenching yesterday, but it was just a little bit too late by the time we got it over here. So we decided to hold off on it, which actually turned out to be a good idea, because there were some last minute changes that Emily and I talked about last night as far as the spacing of the roses and kind of the placement of them. So first things first, here is the trencher. Woo! That's gonna be fun. I've never used one. Just pulling it off the trailer was a lot of fun. But that's gonna be exciting. It's gonna make it easy to, obviously I don't have to dig by hand. So hopefully we can, just a few hours, we'll be able to trench all of our lines. And in the process, hopefully I won't hit anything important. We are replacing the water line, so if I bust line, it's not that big of a deal. And I don't think there's any gas lines or electric out here right now, so we'll be all right. So the changes, let me talk through what changed. Because at first, we were like, okay, we're just gonna trench all these lines and just, start from there. But then we were thinking, fortunately, we're able to kind of clear our heads because we were rushing. So we were like, you know what? We got to scale this, and we want to keep all the roses. We want to keep each species of rose in the same spot, right? So in the future, when we've got 400 to 600 Coco Locos, we want them all to be in the same spot. Seems obvious, but as we were rushing through it, we were just like, hey, let's just measure it out and put the lines down and then trench. So we thought it through, and let me see if I can kind of show you a little bit of what's going on now. So I'll come to the middle. This is the very middle of kind of the main part of the farm. So when you look down here, we mowed a strip just so we kind of have a little bit of a visual. And also because we're going to trench through here, it's easier to paint lines and run string without a bunch of tall grass in the way. But this will eventually be like a 10-foot wide walkway that goes from the front of our property basically all the way to the back. And then down the sides, so going perpendicular, we'll have another walkway, and then it just intersects right in the middle. And that's going to be about 8 feet wide. So we've mapped it all out. And now we have these 4 quadrants where we'll start our Coco Locos here, and we're actually going to have distant drums on this quadrant too, and we've already marked it out back there, so we can go ahead and paint, cut, or trench, and then go ahead and put in the distant drums, because we do already have those. On this side over here, so this quadrant is going to be, right now we're thinking all the blush roses, so anything that's blush will be over there. On the back quadrant is going to be all the whites, and then on the quadrant that has the hill with the nice big oak tree, we're actually going to do kind of a different pattern, just to match the terrain. And this will be kind of our vibrant colors, more of your reds, burgundies, just that pop of color will be right over here. Anyways, so that's kind of the change. We adjusted all the spacing, we got everything laid out, we got the flags. Now we just got to paint our lines, and then once that's done, we're going to start trenching and yeah, have fun with this really cool machine. Making really good progress on the trenching. Pretty excited with what we're able to accomplish. It just so far it's been a few hours. I think we started at roughly 7 o'clock this morning, and it's been about 4 hours, or actually 5 or 6 hours now. So we got a lot of stuff trenched here to get the roses started, and I kind of talked about that a little bit as far as what we're doing and why we did that. And now that I've got the roses trenched, I'm trenching for our water lines. Going down this way is actually where our new supply line will come from, where the well is at. If you can see that white tank, that's our well. And I've got it trenched that way. And now I've got it trenched all the way up to the front of our property. About 300 feet that way, close to 300 feet. And then this trench will go all the way to the back side of our property. Yeah, so from this point, kind of where I'm standing here at this T where the supply line comes in, we'll actually have two water supplies going this way. One's gonna go to the house, and the other is supplying the rest of the farm on this side, the other two quadrants. So making really good progress on the trenching. We should get it all done today, which is exciting because then we won't have to rent this thing again. And then hopefully this weekend we'll have all of our pipe and we can start laying that in here.
Okay, so we got Coco Loco already planted. This is just the first 12 roses. And I'm excited about this one. We're gonna have 40 more, 400 more roses planted of the same type over there. And then over here we have Winchester Cathedral. Oh, no. I'm sorry. This one is Princess Charlene de Monaco. Now, the thing about these, I ordered from Edmonds Roses, and they become bare root, so we had to really quickly get them in the ground. Next week is supposed to be 110, so I hope they don't fry. It's kind of a gambling game right now with these ones, but I just ordered 75 more just a few minutes ago. We're going to be planting Winchester Cathedral. This is a white rose. I just ordered 50 Heritage David Austin roses. Now, Heritage is a beautiful blush cupped rose. So it's like the equivalent to a peony for roses. So, this chicken wire here has a purpose for it. It's not just for decoration, though we love our chicken wire decorations. This is gonna go right into the hole, and I'm gonna stomp it in and kind of make a nice little, you know, bowl for the rose, the roots, because I'm putting bare roots in the ground, and the bare roots can get snapped up just like that from tons of gophers. I've seen probably 100 fresh gopher holes this week, so I'm prepared for the gophers. A mix. This is just regular, you know, garden soil from Miracle-Gro. I'm just gonna mix it a little bit to amend the soil, and then I fill my hole with the bare root.
Okay, so we pretty much got all the bare roots planted. There was 50 total. So we trenched it, and then we kind of dug out a little bit of a hole, put some chicken wire in there, and then mixed the old dirt with some new soil, just to, you know, give it some nutrients and everything, and just some nice, fresh, good ground for these roots. I mentioned earlier, you know, we may end up hitting a pipe, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal because we're replacing everything anyways. And of course, as you can see, I hit a pipe. We have the water on right now just because we got to water the roses, but you can see coming right through there. There's the pipe. It got all tangled up, and now there's no shut off for where this is at because it's coming from kind of this hose bib right there. So I just got to dig that out, cap it off, and we'll be good. We got all the pipe, we got all the trenches ready, and I've been gluing up all the new PVC. So I've got the main line just about done, and you can see here, it's kind of hard to tell, but you can see the PVC coming out of our trench. There we go. Yeah, so to make it easy, and maybe it's common sense, but to make it easy, I didn't try to glue everything in the trench. That would just take forever and just you'd be getting dirt all over the glue. So I actually laid out all the pipe on the side of the trench, as you can kind of see. You know, so I got some more going down there. It's all lined up. It was spaced out pretty much exactly where it should be. Glued it all outside of the trench, and then now I'm just dropping it into the trench now. I'm trying to do as few, trying to glue up as few fittings as possible while it's in the trench, just because, again, don't want to get it dirty and it's messy and it's hard to work in just like a 6-inch wide space. So that's right now. I'm dropping this line in, and once I'm done with that, I can actually connect this main line to our well, which I already have that pipe ready to go too. I just got to connect it at the corner there. And once that's in, then I can actually start working off the branch that goes to the rose farm. All right, so we got all the pipe in. The main line is in. We've got a few extra kind of hose bibs we put in, and we also got the line for the roses all complete right now with the hose bibs that we need for the current rows that we have. As we grow the farm, we'll continue to kind of add more hose bibs and everything, just so we're making sure to put those new drip lines in and we can actually get water to the flowers. Now, this didn't all go as planned. It went really smooth yesterday. Around 1,000 feet worth of plumbing that we put in. And again, as we grow the farm, we're just going to add more and more and more. So it may end up getting to about 1,500 to 1,600 feet. And then that's not including the plumbing that we do for the actual house. However, so I did mention that yesterday went pretty smooth. Everything was great. It didn't take too long to lay the pipe. It took maybe 3 or 4 hours to get the pipe in. And then after that, we tested it we walked the lines again and we found a few leaks. Kind of expected it, and at that point I was like, okay, let's just shut it off. We'll just glue the outside of the fittings again. But that didn't work, and turns out all of our leaks were on the same type of fitting. So I want to show you where we had some of our issues. If you see this, right? This is a piece that I cut out today, maybe like 15-20 minutes ago, and repaired it. Repaired it right there, as you can see. So at first look, let me just point the camera at it. On first look, you can see that, we had to use, our T is not a reducing T. So you have, let's see if I can get my finger in here. I'll just lay it down. So we have a 1 1/4 inch pipe. This is our service line right here. And the T is not a reducing T, meaning it's 1 1/4 on all 3 sides. The reason for that, the reason we got these is because the hardware store we went to buy our plumbing, they didn't have any reducing T's in stock. So we were just like, okay, we can just buy a bushing, which is what you see at the sun, is this part here. And that's just inside, and it's reducing the flow from 1 1/4 to 3/4. Well, I think we have 8. If I remember correctly, I think we have 8 of these bushings. So the problem we had was there was leaks at 6 of the 8 bushings, and I mean they're just like tiny little pinholes, and there's just like little streams shooting out, or there's a tiny little drip. So we shut off the water, and I went back over and glued the outside of the fittings again. Shut off the water, still had a leak. So shut it off again, glued it up, and did that like 2 or 3 times. It just gets to the point where it's pointless to do that because there's so much glue. It's not doing anything. It's just glue on top of glue. It's not really making a chemical bond with the PVC. So what I decided to do this morning was go into town, go to Lowe's, and see if they had reducing T's. And fortunately they did, and I bought all of them. They had like 7 in stock, so I just bought them all, and I replaced everywhere that I could where these bushings were bad. And I'm going to try to avoid using bushings from now on, at least on pressurized lines. There were 2 in the Rose Farm area where I did keep the bushings there just because they were working fine. There's no problem there, and I don't feel like cutting the pipe out right now. And those actually use a cross instead of a T, and Lowe's didn't have a cross, a reducing cross, I should say. So in the future for those rows, I'm going to order some reducing crosses online just to make it a lot easier, because the fix I had to do, which I'll show you right now. So we're in the rose farm now, and these are the pipes that are kind of like the irrigation for the roses. And you'll see how I had to kind of fix the issue here, where I used a reducing T, and then on the 3/4 side, I then used another T so I can get the service line to the roses. So before, it was this thing, right? So it's your regular cross. It's a 1 1/4 cross. It's not reducing at all. And then we had to put bushings on each side, which I had to cut out. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what more I could have done. I glued them, and when, after I fitted them, I then put more glue on the outside, and it still didn't do anything. Then we tested it, and to clarify, I glued the outside before we tested it. And then after we tested it, I glued it again, and nothing was working. So I was like, I'm not going to mess with it anymore. Let's just get rid of it. So that guy, gone. I talked about, in my introductory video to what we're doing, I talked about how I want to be transparent and how much things cost and all of that. So with this, I think this is kind of the first thing that I can really give an idea of how much it costs, because man, 1,000 feet roughly. I bought 1,300 feet of pipe, so I have some pipe left over, which is fine because we'll need it in the future, and it's better to have more pipe than to not have enough, and you got to run back into town, and it's a pain. So with that, we did all the trenching. We did all this in like 3 days. So the cost of it cost us like $215 to rent the trencher for 24 hours, which is great. If I would have started the night before, we could have got more done, and I could have started doing some extra trenching that I could see for, future development, like electrical lines and stuff like that. But I also don't want to have a bunch of trenches that are just open for months on end. But yeah, $215 from a local lumberyard rental place, which is great because when we priced it at Home Depot, it was like close to $200 for 4 hours. I think it was like $175 for 4 hours. So yeah, that I don't know, that doesn't sound too good to me. Yeah, $200. We also got a bigger one too. We had a 36 by 6 inch or 6 inch by 36 inch, however they label it. So the trench is 6 inches wide, and the actual kind of, I don't know what you call it, the blade or whatever, the boom. It's the boom. It's 36 inches, so you can go pretty deep with the thing. And that was cheaper than the one at Home Depot where theirs was like a 24 inch. And it was like you had to push behind it. This one, I got to just stand on the thing and just drive it, essentially. Okay, so $215 for the trenching, or for the renting of the trencher. And then the pipe. So I went to the same place, the same lumberyard and hardware store. I bought all my pipe there. So I bought 45 20-foot, 1 1/4 Schedule 40 PVC. Get your pen out, that's long. And I bought another 20 3/4 inch PVC. So that's 900 feet of the 1 1/4 and 400 feet of the 3/4. And that plus all the fittings was just under $1,000. It was like $980 something. So that includes 2 ball valves that I bought, which were like $40 each. They were pretty expensive. I didn't really price shop ball valves. I just bought them at the shop. I'm sure I probably could have gotten them cheaper. And that was also pretty much all the fittings. I had to go and get a few more fittings at Lowe's, but that wasn't too bad. That was probably another $30 or $40. So in total, it was about, I would say $1,200 to $1,300 is what we spent. So if you do it yourself, you save a lot of money, because if I was estimating, I would say if you had to pay someone to come out here and do this, they're probably going to charge like $12,000 to $15,000. I mean, you're looking at a supply line for 5 acres and a bunch of hose bibs, a lot of trenching, a lot of labor. So, if you can do it yourself, I recommend doing it, because I know if I wasn't able to do this myself, like if I wasn't physically able to do this, and I got a quote for $12,000 to $15,000, I'd probably be like, yeah, that makes sense to me. I wouldn't even hesitate. I'd be like, okay, yeah, if that's what it is, that's what it is. So, but if you are able-bodied, I recommend doing it yourself. You'll save a ton of money, and you'll also, be rewarded knowing that you're the one who did all the work. Anyways, so I think it's about time for me to test the water. I hope it all works, because if it doesn't, I'm gonna just pull my hair out. It's not gonna be very fun. So anyways, that's probably gonna do it. I don't think I'm gonna show any more video on this trenching and the plumbing. I think that pretty much, I think this video sums up the work that we did. So, but if there's any questions or anything, I can always answer those, and yeah, do what I can to help you with your project. All right, see ya.